Hi there. Today I'm going to share my story with Uncle Rauch. Uncle Rauch was a very high-ranking retired colonel in the Army, U.S. Army. He was in charge of nuclear war control center in Omaha, Nebraska. It's a secret facility and you can't go there. And how I knew Uncle Rauch was his son worked with me, and Mr. Rauch used to come to our place in Cherry Hill, Mercedes, and he used to take me out for lunch. And we enjoyed my company, and I enjoyed his as well. And every time I offered, I said, let me pay today. And I said, no, son, you are not going to pay. You are my guest. So anyway, when John was telling this story, John was his son. He's genius. John was genius. He loved life. He enjoyed parties. He enjoyed the companies. Chit chat, you name it, and he enjoyed the tough job where he had 3 different lines running at the same time, and he will tackle it. So anyway, John was telling this story back in 1992 or 93. We were at lunch break, and we took the lunch break at the in the shop. We're sitting down, and we'll talk. I was setting up his video conferencing server at his house, and he was saying, Dean, he thought I was genius too, and he used to call me Brain. He says, Brain is coming. So I did win some of the regional certification tests and exams, and I also had the Technician of the Month award, where the highest productivity and best performance was checked. So anyway, he's telling us the story. He's saying, Dean, you think you're a genius and you setting up my video conferencing server. I knew these things when I was 11. I said, how's that? He says, my dad took me to the secret facility in Oklahoma. I think it was Oklahoma where he went. It's a underground nuclear facility. Control center, and he said he was hiding behind his dad while he walked through the cameras and beat the camera, and his dad told him, you cannot show up in the camera. And every time he says, I'm gonna push my hand back, you're gonna move on this side and then this side. So they were taken he says it took about an hour to they were on a jeep. They went to the Booney Land, and then the jeep stopped. They were blindfolded while they were running in the jeep, and then they came out of the jeep, and then they stepped on some kind of it was sand, and then they went down for a while, and when they came out, they were unblindfolded. And then he walked into the facility with his dad, and he says, I saw what I cannot explain to you. He says there were monitors, video monitors. This is 1992, and he was telling me story when he was 52 at that time. When he's telling me the story, he's 52, and I was in early 20s. And he says that when he was 11, he saw this. So imagine that. That's another about 40 years back from 90. So think about 50s. So he was. He says he witnessed video conferencing panels back in the 50s, and he says my dad says, look, this is the button if I need to talk to this guy. He's sitting in Russia. This guy is China. This is in Brazil. This is Australia. You name it, where I want to talk to, and there's the button right there. And weird thing happened right after 9/11. We were all followed by the secret services and FBI and all that, and for no reason, just we were harassed. And I think during that time someone was talking about John, so they picked up the name for John, and they went after John. They asked him whatever the questioning was, and this and that about us and whatever, my friends. And then all of a sudden I found out the Uncle Rauch, his dad, Colonel Rauch, he passed away. It was weird, but I mean, it's okay. He was 90 something, but he was he was just a living guy. Drove a big Cadillac, happy person, knew everything, sharp as memory you can think of, and very quick and active. So anyway, he died all of a sudden. And then a year later, I found out that John suicided. John was a person who loved life. He would never do something like that. And I took him home every time there was Christmas Eve or something. I took him home. I drove him home. I didn't let him drive his car. He had the SD Mercedes SD diesel, and I remember he used to be parked there for a couple days, and until we went there and pick him up. And anyway, John mysteriously, he says he suicided, and he was found hung in his garage. His wife says, I don't know. She says he wasn't home. He used to go home for lunch. And there were disagreements with his wife, but that's about it. It was no issue. His wife was not a person who would push him to a point or anything. His daughter and his son. Daughter is calm and collective, and his son was a little, upset. But still, he was doing fine. John loved life. Anyway, it was mysteriously, we were told he did the suicide. John had the knowledge of the secret site. He was blindfolded when he went there. Okay? His dad had it. His son had it. So a year after John's suicide, exact same day, his son, John Jr., he hung himself. And so this was a weird thing. John still has his brothers, Jeff, and there's Jack, and his sister, I forgot her name, and they are still around, last name Rauch. And but anyway, Uncle Rock was a human, powerful human. I mean, we always discussed about being a human and being gentle to each other, not to enforce your mind to others. Do your own thing and help others when you can. That's his theory. And help anyone who's on earth. Don't worry about where they come from and whatnot. And we enjoyed the discussions, sometime at a late lunch. But anyway, neither he was a person who would be depressed. John did have alcohol. He used to take alcohol. When he had the alcohol, he would say, "Leave me the F alone." And about half an hour later, he's all good. I mean, you still discuss things with him. So anyway, so this was with my godfather kind of personality, Uncle Rauch, who mysteriously disappeared, and then his son, and then his grandson. Adios.